Today on the grid, it's Gear Talk Day. Join me and Kuna the Rocket Band, Canon for Kovlikistan. As we talk about, I kind of trashed that. As we talked about gear and we talk about love. Because you know we don't talk enough about on the grid? Love. And we've got some lovely giveaways, and it all starts in just 30 seconds.
The Grid is brought to you by Platypod, the tripod alternative that is changing the world. Everybody has a Platypod. You should too. Go to platypod.com.
Hey, there's the new slow pan there. Hey, there we are. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another live episode of The Grid. Scott Kelby here, and way over there on the other set, Mr. Erik Kuna, Rocket Man.
Hey, everybody.
There he is.
Hey.
There he is.
There I am.
Hey-o. How you doing there, Mr. K?
Great. How are you?
Well, you know. Anyway, I'm in quarantine. How about you?
Yeah, it works.
Yeah, and you know, so Erik and I usually go to lunch like 2 or 3 times a week at the same restaurant, Ellie's. Yeah. When was the last time we were to Ellie's? It's been a year.
It's been a while.
It's been like a year.
They have good takeout.
They do have, and I've done takeout from there a couple times, but it's not the same as you and I going and meeting there.
This is true.
All right. Well, anyway, we're glad to have you guys here today. You don't have to really hear about Erik and I's 2020 lunching plans.
We are here to talk about gear, right?
Gear and love.
Gear and love today.
Because you know what we don't talk about enough on the grid?
Love and gear.
Love and gear. We love gear, though.
Gear.
We love gear. So today we're going to be talking about gear. I have a thing I want to show you that is semi-related to gear. It starts with a little software thingy, and then it ramps up to gear. But anyway, we're taking your comments and stuff live. Let's go over what we're giving away first and how to do it. We're going to give away,
because we got a bunch of giveaways.
Yeah, we're giving away Creative Garden Photography, which is pretty cool book. Actually, it's quite cool. So, and it is from Harold Davis. Floral. I saw this when we first got a copy in. It's very nicely done. Yeah, he's very good at flowers, let me tell you. I can do it. Anyway, so we're giving away a copy of that today. We're also giving away, so my brand new book just came out, the iPhone Photography book. Just came out. It's not in print yet. It'll be in print in a few more weeks. I think like 3 more weeks. So we're waiting on the print edition, but the ebook edition is out, and we are giving away 2 copies today. So we'll be giving away those a little bit later. And what else do we have?
Well, interesting about the iPhone photography book, and hearing back from a lot of, because people aren't getting it on the Kindle version. Even mirrorless DSLR photographers love it because they're able to just kind of like, get those secrets, those tips, those tricks on how to use your iPhone, because there is other sides to shooting with the iPhone, but it's just another camera. But still, it's cool to figure out those little tips and tricks. Yeah,
so I would say about 25% of the book is stuff that's very iPhone-y.
Yeah.
Like, here's some stuff that Apple buried in there, and here's how to do cool stuff. It does a lot more than you'd think. And then the other 75% of it is what the real crux of the book is here's how to make great photos. So it's just you happen to be using an iPhone, because we're applying the same principles that we do to other stuff. Anyway, we're going to be giving away a couple today.
And then we also have the Boris Effects Optics. We're giving away optics. Really awesome software. Love that stuff. And the SlickPick Portfolio level account. We're giving away a SlickPick Portfolio level account. This is great because if you watched last week's grid, we were talking about websites. This is basically website building, portfolio building for photographers specifically, nothing else, just for photographers. And I think that's it. Are we giving away a Platypod? We're also giving away a Platypod. So we got a Platypod Ultra. So we're giving away an Ultra.
Oh, yay. All right. We got an Ultra.
Yep. So I think that's it.
All right.
I can't read any more on the screen, but that's it. That's what we're giving away. So now, if you do want to get 25% off the SlickPick portfolio level account, everybody can be a winner today on the grid. And you just go to slickpick.com/Kelby1. You can get 25% off your SlickPick membership. Now, to enter, all you got to do is go leave us a comment. First, tell us where you're from. If you got any questions during the show, any questions about gear, because this is a gear show, it's a great time to answer any of those gear questions, tech questions, stuff that you're really getting might be stumping you on gear for photography. And then just tell us what you want to win too, so we can actually give you what you want to win, and not just randomly what we decide.
Yeah, instead of randomly just picking stuff for you.
Yeah, there you go. So.
All right, so
we're gathered here today.
So I have a little thing. So, first, I'm trying to figure out which I should show you first. All right, so this first thing is leading to I'm going to start with the software thing that leads to a hardware thing.
Okay.
So last week a site that I'd love to go to is the UK-based website Digital Photo World. It's not digital photography. It's digitalphotoworld.com. And it is from Digital Photography World. Hold on. I'm going to go find, I'm going to tell you exactly. And then I'm getting messages from my crew here. So I'm going to deal with that in 1 second. Let me go see what it is called. Okay. It is called exactly. Hold on. What the heck happened? Oh, I'm on the wrong site. Sorry, I have 2 blogs. Sorry. 2 blogs, no sleep. There it is. Okay, it is Digital Camera World. It's Digital Camera World. Digital Camera World, not Digital Photo World. DigitalCameraWorld.com, UK site, really good site, really, really good. Love them. Been going to there for years. All right, so I went to their site, and I'm going to real quickly. I'm going to grab. Hey, hold on right there. Stop at that page and don't move. Leave it there because I want to talk about that. Their lead story. I saw that this morning. So leave that there while I go and launch this other piece of software that we desperately need for me to be able to show you this. But I want to talk about what they're showing on there because it's a gear thing and it's kind of misleading. Hang on 1 second. Don't move. Don't breathe. Don't make a sound. I was obviously not prepared for this. So I don't know what happened. I completely forgot to launch this piece of software that I need to launch. There it is. Okay. So last week I see this article, and the article is called "Why I Dumped Lightroom Cc," which is the cloud version. Mm-hmm. But you know why he calls it CC? Because he doesn't know what to call it. Adobe's done such a poor job of naming Lightroom that the guy's like, "I'm going to call it the old name."
Any confusion on it was created by Adobe.
100%.
100%.
So anyway, he basically, he was a Lightroom Classic user. He switched to Lightroom CC and then went back to Classic. And so that the whole article, he lists all the reasons why. Now, although he lists a bunch of reasons and I agree with them all, I have more reasons than even he does why I can't use Lightroom CC or cloud or whatever you want to call it, whatever the kids are calling it these days.
However, classic version.
He made a really, really good point. Do you know the only reason why he wanted to stay with Lightroom CC? The only reason he really changed and why he wants to stay with it, why he wanted to stay with it.
Maybe because it looks modern?
Because it looks modern, exactly. Yeah. He said, you know what it is? Hey,
you feel like you're using the classic version. Oh, that's right, you're using the classic version.
So Lightroom Classic's what, 14 years old almost?
Well, but let's be honest. Well, and
it looks the same.
Yeah, I mean, it looks the same, but it's not like the sliders are much different in CC or cloud or whatever you want to call it. I mean,
they've just modernized
the interface could be changed on the old one like that.
Yes, right? Yes, it could.
I mean, totally.
And so 100%. What he's saying is, hey, look, Lightroom Classics, we know it's not going away now. Look how long it's been here. It's been here, what, 4 years? Everyone's like, oh, they're not going to. They keep adding new features. They keep making Classic
it's the
better.
Future. It's the future.
Yeah.
Of that product is their future. Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't think you're going to see Lightroom Classic go away. I mean, eventually, maybe 10 years.
No, I mean, I think there's a place for it.
I mean, there are people that.
It's kind of like, we were just looking at this,
Elements?
Like any of those where you have like the revision, like you look at old versions of the software and you look at it and you're like, well, go back to the iPhone, right? If you go back to iPhone, like iOS and iPhone old, it just looks old. It looks more like Lightroom
Did you call
Classic.
it iPhone old?
Yeah, it's iPhone old.
iPhone old,
and
yes.
as they increase, they make it slicker and more modern. And I mean, that's what they did well with CC or Cloud or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I want to see if I could make this bigger. Hold on. I got to find out what the right magnification for this is. Maybe it's 40. All right.
But that's when you look at it. That's what always confuses me. Like, it's the same stuff. I mean, just look at Camera Raw. That's a great example. Look at what they did to Camera Raw.
Yeah, they just updated Camera Raw big time.
Camera Raw's interface.
Right. So anyway, what this guy was saying was, why can't we have both? Right? And it's a very simple thing. He's like, why can't I have the Lightroom Classic that I like? Adobe still sells it. They still make it available. It's still around. Yeah. So why can't I have a more modern? So I agreed. And so what I did on my blog on Monday, I think it was I went and I did it. I modernized Lightroom's interface. Now, I did it in Photoshop. I didn't really go in and tweak the code, right? I just literally just went in there and changed.
You did the first step in iterations or design. You just mocked it up.
Yeah, I did a mock-up. I did, take a look on my screen. So this is the old one. So this is the current Lightroom Classic.
You mean the original one?
The original one, yeah, the one that's 14 years old. All right, now I'm going to show you the same thing here, what it would look like if Adobe applied Lightroom CC or Cloud's interface. It would look like this. Look, it's the same stuff. I have all the same look. There's catalog, folders, collections. It's the same stuff.
Right.
But they give you this layout that is, that you can choose. It's just a change in the grid. Now, they have 3 different grids that you can choose from, where in Classic you basically just have a cell and then a smaller cell, but you don't have this nice view here, which I think is actually kind of nice. I did the same thing with the develop module. So here's here's the it's not the develop module. That's
the ye old.
Yeah, I went and redid it. So this is what Lightroom Classics would look like if you just applied the stuff. Because really, all it is look, the font's a little different. The button in front of it's different. Yeah, the sliders are easier to hit because they're larger.
Camera Raw.
And it's darker gray. Come on.
That's it.
How hard is it? Okay, so what this is leading to is what a different software can make. Now, this is a long journey, so you're going to have to stick with me. So on this Monday, the same day I posted this, Terry White, the very brilliant Terry White, did an article. And I think it was called Nikon. What was it? Nikon's Epic UI Fail. And what it is he showed something that was. I'm going to jump over to his site because you got to see this. So give me 1 second. We're going to go to Terry White, terrywhite.com. That's a good place. Let's go there. And there it is. And I want to show you a particular graphic. All right. So he's got the new mirrorless Nikon Z6, and he goes to a number of different things. Like he wants to go shoot HDR, right? He wants to shoot HDR, and he goes to the HDR, and it's grayed out. It's just grayed out. So he taps on it and says, oh, you can't use this in this mode. Okay.
But it doesn't tell you why? Or?
It doesn't tell you what mode. It just says, doesn't work here. It doesn't tell you what you're doing that doesn't work. Like, he wrote it really great. He wrote it. He goes, oh, you can't use this feature, and I'm not going to tell you why. I'm just going to gray it out. And if you do tap on it, then it says, nope, this doesn't work.
Yep.
What kind of come on, you couldn't, number one, here's what he found out. The HDR feature only works in JPEG. Why doesn't it say, sorry, this feature doesn't work in JPEG?
Or in RAW, yeah.
It doesn't work in RAW.
Doesn't work in RAW.
Would you like to switch to JPEG? It's a touch screen.
Yeah, and there could be a button there that just switches it, right?
Yeah. Would you like to switch to JPEG? Yes.
These are the kind of things that, they just don't think through.
Why don't I? So these UI things are crazy. Like what the Adobe sticking us with this old interface. Yeah. Nikon not even thinking.
And Canon has the same thing with the Canon cameras.
Oh yeah, they do.
Sony has the their menu
Sony's
system.
the king of it.
Forget it.
We're going to be talking about Sony in just
that'd be a
second.
whole show in itself.
But so then he does this other thing. He has this other feature he wants to go to. He wants to use this other feature.
Yeah.
He cannot get it to work. He does a bunch of research. He calls people. He finally finds out that this particular feature will not work when you're tethered. And it seems like, why wouldn't it work? It was like focus stacking. That's it. Focus stacking will not work if you're tethered. First off, why not? But forget the why not. Why not just say, not just not work, it's grayed out. Just say,
why?
Simply, this doesn't work using tethered. Nope, they just say, this function does not work.
Yep.
Here's the bad thing. The camera knows, I can't make this work because you're tethered, but it won't tell you.
And it knows what mode you need to turn off in order to do the thing that would make it work. But they're just not going to... I mean, that's those frustrating points, and all camera manufacturers have those.
All right, so I got one for you, though, Mr. Kuna. I'm going to put you on the spot for this.
Yeah.
So my friend Paul, hey, Paul. My friend Paul calls me. Did he call you?
No.
No, but you know what he told me? He said, so last night, this is what he said. Last night, I'm in bed. It's me and my wife and Kuna.
Oh, boy.
I said, excuse me. He goes, yeah, my wife's listening to Kuna as I'm watching his Canon R6 class, and I'm like, you need to start with that sentence. You need to start with, last night I'm watching Erik Kuna's class while I'm in bed, with my wife. Not
not with Kuna. Yeah,
no. It was a little awkward. Anyway, so and I need somebody to help us figure this out because I have not tried this. And you have rented a Canon R6.
I've spent 2 solid weeks with it, yeah.
You spent 2 solid weeks with it. Okay. So what he's saying is he somehow turned on the self-timer, the 2-second timer, the 10-second timer.
Uh-huh.
And he spent 45 minutes trying to figure out how to turn it off. First off, he doesn't know how he accidentally turned it on. But the other thing is, he says the only way to turn it off is to go through a series of, you have to press a button and then hold another button. I'm like, dude, there's got to be a menu command that just says off. Somebody out there knows. I just got my R6. I have not even used the self-timer.
But that's a drive mode. It should just be able to...
That's what I said. Isn't it a mode on the little top? Isn't
there's got to be something deeper in the menu that he turned on then.
Yeah. I don't know. But somebody out there today that has an R6, a Canon R6 mirrorless.
Permanently turned on self-timer.
How do you turn off and on the self-timer? Somebody out there, help us out here. I got to help my friend Paul. Hey, Paul. I got to help Paul out.
That's a weird one.
I know it is a weird one, and I'm like, dude, there's got to be. I said, because on-camera bodies, a lot of times, for example, you can change your white balance by holding a function button and scrolling.
Yeah.
Or you can go to the menu and choose the white balance.
And you can with you can.
Eric's feverishly looking it up over there. But somebody watching the show today has an R6 and goes, oh, it's just right here. So we got to help my friend out because my camera is at my house.
Yeah,
I'm at the office.
Even here, I'm looking. It says select the drive mode item.
Yeah, it's on the dial on the top, right?
Well, there's a multifunction button on the top that allows you to access it, right? I mean, that's how
That's the one he's talking about, but he says that's a pain in the butt, and you'll never figure it out on your own. Is there another way?
Well, yeah, you could use the Q button too, which is the quick command.
Oh, the quick command would do it?
Yep. I mean, there's tons of ways to access it.
There's probably 3 ways to do it.
There's tons of ways to access it, but that's what it's got to be. It's a drive mode.
It's a drive mode.
All you're doing is switching the drive mode.
Yeah, you have single shot, multi-shot. Or, burst mode, self-timer mode.
But I don't know why it would just stay on,
Yeah, he was stuck for 45 minutes. He went and watched your class, which, it's not easy sometimes to find that one little thing.
Well, that's what we went over.
In an hour-long class.
So, now, I will say, once you get used to that multifunction button, I actually like it. me personally. That's just me personally.
Right.
Like some people don't. They want like the button just to be right there.
Hey, the button, it was a little funky doing stuff like that on the old R.
It's the same way with the R. Yeah, it's very similar to
yeah, where you had to go to the top screen and it was up there.
I think that's where it's just like, it's just getting used to it. Yeah. Now, the other thing I love about the R and the R6 and the R5 is that a lot of times I'm doing all that stuff with the multifunction while I have it up to your eye because it's the electronic viewfinder.
I'm getting multiple messages here that it's time for us to take a short pause. But when we come back, we're going to be talking about some more of this stuff that we're angry about. No. But we got a wildlife conference coming up, and we want to tell you a little bit about it. So check it out. We'll see you right after.
Have you ever struggled to take beautiful images of your children? With squirming infants, busy toddlers, and uncooperative children, it's no easy task. I've been a professional child photographer focused on my craft for over 10 years, and I've discovered that as technology changes, so too has the ability to photograph fleeting moments, and it's now easier than ever. You'd be surprised to learn that all these photos you are seeing were not taken with fancy equipment, expensive lenses, or lights. They were all captured with an iPhone. Hi, I'm Tracy Sweeney, newborn child and family photographer, and I invite you to join me in this class, where I'll teach you the secrets of how to take amazing photographs with the camera that is always with you. You'll learn how to take better portraits, choose lenses, capture children in motion, and edit images that you'll want to share with the world. Come check out my class to learn the tricks of the trade and capture memories to last a lifetime.
Howdy folks, Moose Peterson here on a beautiful balmy morning at 9 degrees up on Lolo Pass. This is the path that Lewis and Clark took west. Wintertime is a marvelous time to get out and photograph critters. You know, they're at their best many times when it comes to their pelts, and they have different kind of plumage. They're just busy doing that survival stuff, and you've got this gorgeous Christmas kind of atmosphere everywhere. But how do you take those pictures? More importantly, how do you do it comfortably, having fun and photographically successful? Because there's so many pitfalls that are out there waiting for you. And that's what I'm going to deal with. We're going to talk about things like clothing. You're going to learn you don't dress like me because I don't get cold. How do you prevent that? How do you go out and work with your gear in the cold weather? How do you bring it back in at night and not start that condensation cycle? How do you make sure you have a stable platform? What clothing do you need? How do you take care of yourself physically? And so much more. I mean, I'm going to cover a ton of this, as well as showing you the photographs, the do's and the don'ts, the possibilities, light your imagination, get you out here in the cold, embrace it, and have a lot of fun. So come and join me photographing critters in winters, exclusively here on Kelby One.
This segment of The Grid is brought to you by B&H Photo, the professional source since 1973.
Hey.
Well, anyways.
Hey, we're back. Scott and Erik here. We're sitting here debating this whole R6, how to turn it on. So you can press the MF button and then you use the little dial to scroll over.
That's exactly how I would do it.
Yeah, it's not on the wheel on the top.
Juan brought up a good point of you could use the quick command dial as well, or the quick command button.
Yeah, there's a little, on the back of Canons, there's a Q button, and it's just, it gets you quickly to stuff. And you could go there and literally just tap it with your finger. That would probably be
then maybe he's coming from a camera that didn't have that.
Yeah, he had, his camera was a 5D Mark II. So he didn't have a touchscreen. He didn't have the multifunction button.
Yeah, and it's a little hard to get used to using that multifunction button. But once you do, I think it's great.
It's weird that it's not on the dial on top. Because there's a dial on top.
Well, and then that's too. I mean, the smaller the cameras get, the more they take away buttons. You know, I mean, if you're
but this one added buttons back in.
1DX has the buttons everywhere. They're never hidden.
Yeah, I know, but the Z6 added many more buttons than were on the R. I keep saying Z. The Canon R6. Why did Canon and Nikon name their stuff so closely together that you constantly confuse them?
So you constantly confuse them.
So you constantly, it's just like Adobe. All right, we got some shout outs. Want to say hi to some folks, Mr. Kuna?
Yeah, we got people joining us all over the world. I can see we got Jenny from Wyoming. Then we got Ka from Malaysia. We got Mike joining us all the way from Santa Clara, California. And then we got Jim saying hi from Bailey, Colorado. Jury saying hi from Prague, Czechoslovakia, or Czech Republic, I should say.
Yep, Czech Republic.
Yep. And then Claudia there from Toronto, Canada. And then we got Alec joining us from Aberdeen. Barbie from Mississippi. Mary from Minnesota. Stacy from Maryland. John from Sacramento. Rob Sylvan's in the house, all the way from New Hampshire up there.
Hey, Stacy's here. We haven't seen Stacy in a while. Stacy Morris.
Yeah.
It's been a while. Welcome back, Stacy.
Yeah. And then Tim's joining us from Gilbert, Arizona. Victoria Pavlov's in the house.
Victoria Pavlov!
We've got Christoph all the way from Poland. We got Mark over there from icy Virginia. Yeah, there's a lot of icy places in the States right now. And then Jen's all the way from Denmark. And then Terry White is in the house too.
In the house, Terry White.
It's getting typed out as I speak.
Terry's in the house.
So, hey, look, we got a question from James here for Scott. How does the R6 work for action sports? So I shoot motocross and use a Canon 5D Mark IV and thinking about the R6.
Okay, so I haven't shot sports with it yet. I really haven't shot anything with it yet. I got it. It's
I've
at
shot
the house.
Action with it. I've shot an air show. And
Oh, you did shoot air show.
A rocket launch, and they're pretty.
The focus is
action.
nice and snappy.
Yes, it is. I mean, so versus the Mark IV, it'd be a way step up. I mean, way step up because you're talking, you're going to get.
What are they, like 5 or 6 frames a second on
yeah,
the
you're
on the
going to
Mark
go
IV?
to a good. You can get that thing pumping at 20 frames per second.
Yeah,
and it'll handle it fine, especially you put in a good card and stuff. So
yeah, nice fast card.
You get a big step up for sports. Tracks very well, and the tracking on both the R5 and R6 is phenomenal. So way better than anything that they made up until this point. So I would think it'd be awesome.
Yeah,
especially
James,
coming from a Mark IV.
I used a Mark IV as my second body for shooting sports,
Yes.
and it was kind of brutal.
It's okay.
I mean,
it's okay. Yeah.
It was like it felt like click, 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 click.
Yeah,
it
go
felt
to that
so
R6
slow.
and it is just.
Yeah, you're talking if you don't go with the mechanical shutter, it's 20 frames per second.
Yeah.
That's a lot of frames.
I mean, that's a lot of frames.
That's a lot of frames.
Per second. Yeah.
It's a lot of frames.
And you're basically got a 1DX Mark III sensor.
Oh yeah, and the sensor. So James, the sensor for that.
That's where you're gonna go crazy.
This is the thing. The sensor for that is the same sensor that's in the 1DX Mark III. So now you're shooting at 4,000 ISO and stuff, and
clean,
and it's clean, and you're like shooting at ridiculous numbers. Like that's like I have 2 1DXs for that.
That's what really sold me on the R6.
That's why I went with the R6 because it was like because
the
think of
1DX
it.
Mark III was clean when I shot with that thing.
Oh,
that
that
was
thing
clean,
is,
right? And then I'm like, well, wow, that's clean for like a third of the price, Wow.
Yeah, and it has features the 1DX does not have.
Yeah.
The 1DX doesn't have a touch screen. It doesn't have an articulating screen. It doesn't have all the cool stuff that the long exposure stuff and all the. I'm telling you, James, it's time.
I tell you, that's what the R6 got the underrated camera award last year, right? It was like, that was the camera that everybody went for the R5 because of the crazy video and the crazy megapixels.
Right, but if you don't shoot
the R6
video,
for what the price
it's the champ.
That was like the wow, I can't believe this.
Now, you know what other camera came out like that? And every once in a while, a camera will come out and it's at such the right price, like it just blows everybody away. Nikon did it with the D700. You remember the D700?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Was the D700? Yeah, the D700. Because it was like a like a 5D Mark. I'm forgetting. Like Nikon was a D4. It was like a D3.
Yeah, D3
at a third of the price.
3S and all those.
I think this is that same scenario. So everybody that had a D700, nobody wanted to sell it because it was like gold. I think that the R6 is that camera for Canon, where you're like, why did you even do this? Like, why did you make
it? Yeah, it's one of those decisions when you look at the specs, you're like, usually Canon and Nikon and Sony, they don't do that, where they don't put in like the really nice thing. You know, they're usually like, we're going to dummy it down a little bit.
Or kinda, they could have said it's going to have
a little bit.
It's going to have the 1DX Mark II chip. They could have said it's going to have a chip that's a few years old, but it's a really great chip. But they put in, like, is the same chip who's buying a 1DX now, a 1DX Mark III?
Yeah,
You'd be buying it because of durability. It's a tank.
And having all those buttons everywhere, like we were just talking about.
Yeah.
Like, you have access to all the buttons.
The R6 has got a lot of buttons compared to the R. Compared to the R. All right. Hey, look who's in the chat. Joe Glida, one of the greatest guys and greatest shooters in our industry. Joe Glida is out there. Joe, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, Joe.
Joe Glida. And one of the funniest guys. Joe is He is a born storyteller.
Yes.
He can, I'm telling you what, I've been in rooms like at parties where Joe's telling stories and people are lying on the floor holding their gut. He is an amazing storyteller, both visually, like his what he does photographically.
He used to do those things at the closing Photoshop world that were just hilarious.
You know, he's been working on a project for a couple of years now on restoring a World War II bomber.
Yeah.
And that's way out of his genre because he was and still is a professional food photographer, unbelievable food photographer, like ridiculous. Used to run the lab at Kraft Foods.
Yep.
Kraft Foods.
And we actually we had him come here and work in a kitchen here in Tampa.
Okay, so Barb says, so are you saying the R5 is better than my 1DX now? No, we're saying the R6. That's cheaper. That's $1,000 or $1,200.
Right. And that's where people are getting confused too. That this R5, R6. It's like you're saying with the names. The names confuse so many people. It's like because the R6 seems like it would be the more expensive one because it's a higher number.
But it's not.
It's the R5 that's the higher number, more expensive, more megapixels. R6 is the one with the 1DX Mark III sensor.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, again, is better than your 1DX. It matters the 1DX Mark III, 1DX Mark II.
Yes, it's better than your 1DX. I think so, certainly.
Definitely better than all those.
Hey, look, I have a 1DX and I went and bought the R6. I got two of them.
Yes, other than the that accessibility thing. You know, if you just need durability and accessibility.
Yeah, I will say this. If you take a Canon 1DX and you drop it off the back of a pickup truck, you're shooting from it and it rolls off and it falls on the ground and you were going 20 miles an hour. You go pick it up, you dust it off, and it keeps firing like nothing happened.
Yep.
Most other camera bodies drop off the back of the truck and you're like, well, I guess I'm calling B&H tomorrow and
and it's that whole
file
thing
an insurance claim.
If you know if you should be buying a 1DX.
Yeah.
Like if you're thinking about buying a 1DX,
full-time journalist.
Don't think about it. Like you should know that I need a 1DX.
Yeah.
You know. And especially now there's the R6. But yeah.
All right, so
Terry White's saying,
he's got the D850.
Yeah, I love my D850, which that's a great camera.
Everybody loves their D850.
I've never met anybody that owns a D850. It's like,
they're all just love it.
They love it. But I can see going Nikon Z full time. I mean, I definitely see that. I mean, I see where there's a reason why we're going over to the Z or the R series or the A.
Hey, by the way, can I ask you something?
A1, whatever.
Here's a question. When was the last time a major camera company came out with a camera that wasn't mirrorless?
Well, it's been a while now.
Yeah, I mean,
I was thinking about that today. Of like,
who's coming out with
1DX Mark III was last year. That was the one that surprised me.
That was more than last year. That's more than a year old.
A year and a half, I guess.
No, I think it's more than that. Let's see when it came out.
No, 1DX Mark, it was like a year and a half.
No.
So
no.
Yeah.
No, it came out in the end of 2019.
Me.
No. Canon 1DX Mark III. Thank goodness for Google. Release date. Here it is.
say.
Oh, it was January of 2020.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not even a year and a half.
Now, wait a minute. Where's the company's 20 megabytes? No, you're right.
And that's what I'm saying. That's the last. That one actually surprised me.
You're right. It is less old than I thought.
Yes.
It's only a year and a month old.
And that's why it came to my mind, because that one now is a great camera. And in fact, if you put it into mirrorless mode, it's basically at the time, it's what an R6 is now. So then you're like, oh my gosh, like I could not tell anybody with a straight face, like go buy the 1DX Mark III when now there's an R6. I couldn't.
All right. Hey, John's got a follow-up question. I'm not sure if it's the same John, but it's a John. So,
yeah.
So John says, if you buy the R6 and you have a limited budget, what adapter ring should you get? This is easy, John. Get the $99 one.
Yeah.
If you have a limited budget. Now,
Yes.
So I will just say this. There are 3 different rings, adapter rings, and Nikon does a similar thing. The ring allows you, just for those of you who are familiar with it, it just allows you to use your existing Canon lenses on this new body, on this mirrorless body. Ones. Yeah, you can use Tamron and other ones too.
Yeah, you could use, and also the other thing that it does, which is different, because if you have an EF, if you have an EF body, you can't use EFS lenses. However, on mirrorless with that adapter, you can use EF and EFS lenses.
This nerd moment has been brought to you by
Nerd
stuff.
It's what I do.
All right. So
it's what I do.
No, don't apologize for being a nerd. It's okay. Nerds are cool again. All right, back to our story.
Yes.
So they make a $99 adapter and it just lets you use the lenses. End of story. That's fine. There's a $199 adapter that gives you a ring that you can assign to something on your camera. It's a dial that's on the.
They call it a control
like
ring.
where you're holding your lens. Right, you can turn this thing, and you can make it. I made mine exposure compensation, but you can make it shutter speed. You can make it ISO. You can make it whatever you want.
It is pretty cool when you start using
nice
it.
and it's very nice and handy.
It's cool.
It is cool,
but again,
not necessary.
Needed. Not needed.
If you're on a budget, just spend the $99. And they have a third one that's like $400. And it lets you drop in filters like an ND or whatever.
And a circle
but it's all expensive as crap.
Now, they're starting to get some third-party
They're going to need
filters,
some third-party. They're so expensive.
But it's really kind of cool in that you could use a lot of third-party drop-in filters if they start making them.
Just buy regular cheap filters like the rest of the world.
And that's where, again, if you're on a limited budget, you're right, $99 one.
$99, John.
It's going to adapt your lenses.
Easy
That's
peasy.
the only job it needs to do, is adapt your lenses to the body.
Hey, look, Ramy's here. What's he say?
And he say
Ramy.
D850. He loves Ramy. I've never met anybody that loves the D850 more than Ramy.
Yeah, I did a workshop, and I spent a few days with Ramy up in Canada. And Ramy would take a shot, and he'd just look at me and go, I can't believe the sensor in this thing. I'm like, I know, it's really good.
Yeah, we get it.
Now, that was before we had our really good sensor, so now we're okay. But back then, it was really just a kick in the, it was a kick. It was a kick to lower regions. Is it really break time again?
Oh, my goodness. That's what happens on these shows.
This is what happens on these shows.
Well, if you have any other gear questions, let us know.
We're talking about gear. We're happy to talk about gear. Gear's fun. We'll be back in just a minute. When we come back, more gear stuff.
Hey, Rick Salmon here. Thank you so much for joining me for my 25th class here on Kelby One Backyard Bird Photography and Beyond. Now, when it comes to learning, this class features more than 250 slides, and each slide is backed up with either a photography tip, a wildlife tip, or a Photoshop tip. So by the end of the class, I really think that you'll learn a lot. So my friends, let the learning begin. And by the way, there are also 2 reasons why this class is called Backyard Bird Photography and Beyond. 1, I'll show you how to get great bird photographs like this cardinal just about to take off in and around your backyard. And 2, when you go beyond your backyard, you can use these tips to get great photos while traveling to nearby ponds, lakes, and wildlife centers. For more bird and wildlife tips, check out my latest class on kelby1.com.
Bonjour, mesdames et messieurs. My name is Sir Germany. I'm a French photographer living in Los Angeles, California, and I'm a fine art artist. I love SneakPeek because you can host all your photos online. You can share the best one through albums with incredible privacy settings. For example, you can just share an album to like 3 people or for just a number of hours. They have amazing watermarking on the fly where you can just change your mind and watermark and redo the watermark or take it out and it's instant on all your photos. Having an official portfolio is so vital today. Now they have an amazing launching deal where for just taking the basic subscription we're offering now, which is roughly $15 a month, you're gonna get a professional designer to do your website for you. All you have to do is fill in a form with a few data and you're good to go. A designer will design your website for you. So if you don't like web design, this is a great opportunity. I think we're better off taking photos and learning how to do HTML and CSS and getting the most perfect website ever. I mean, even if you were to go the route of WordPress, which I did for many years, having a WordPress is free, but you need to host a WordPress. And a good hosting service is between $10 to $20 a month. So all you have to do is click the link below and get the offer. You will get this special price, which is 50% off for the first year, but you're gonna get it for life. So get it now. I love my Sleeping website. I love the business that it drives me, and I want the same success for you. Get it now.
For over 20 years, leading software developer Boris FX has made its mark on the film and television industry. Now, for the first time, our Academy and Emmy Award-winning visual effects tools are available for photographers. Welcome to Optics. Optics is a collection of 160 filters for Photoshop and Lightroom. Simply apply the effect and launch the interface. Optics features thousands of customizable and creative presets for photo editing and effects layering. The top tools include lens flares for cinematic looks, realistic night skies with star fields and moon generator, add lightning with on-screen interactive control. The Easy Mask tool creates masks with just a few clicks. Optics is available now as a plugin for Photoshop and Lightroom and includes the standalone application for Mac OS and Windows. Get Optics now for 15% off. Visit borisfx.com, add Optics to your cart, and apply coupon code KELBY15.
My name is Rami Kazemi, and I have a brand new and a very exciting, refreshing class for you this time that focuses on color. This is a very specific class on how to use the different simple tools that come with Photoshop to make the colors pop. But not only that, we're also going to be focusing on how to create separation, because understanding color harmony is very important. And when you understand color harmony, then you can really start to create separation in your photographs and give it that depth that a two-dimensional file is missing. Now, I don't want you to think that this is only for landscapes, because when you talk about color harmony, you could use these techniques on anything really. It could be portrait, it could be any style. We're going to be talking about different real-life photo examples, and we're going to go through them, and we're going to take these photographs to the next level. I want you to come and join me on my latest class exclusively at kelby1.com.
This segment of The Grid is brought to you by Canon.
Hey-o! All right, we're back. And it's me, and there's Erik, right? All right. Lurking behind the scenes is Christina, moderating. Juan in the shadows. Jason in the control room. Ron in a different control room because we're socially media'd. No, we're socially distanced. That's it, not social media. It all sounds the same. John Balboni has a question. John says, first, Scott, any suggestions on how best to sell used gear? I sell a lot of it on eBay, but I almost just got ripped off big time on eBay. So now I'm a little hesitant to use eBay. Now, somebody the other day was telling me, why don't you just sell it to B&H or KEH? Because once eBay takes their money out and all this kind of stuff, you're just as well to go to sell it to one of those guys. You're not going to get top dollar, but you're not going to get top dollar on eBay either, and they're going to take their cut. Someone's always going to take their cut unless you're selling it on Craigslist. Then you're meeting some shady guy in a parking lot at midnight, and I'm not doing that to sell my gear.
Correct.
I got a buddy that does Craigslist and goes to people's houses and being like, dude, ain't no way.
So my thing is the same thing. MPB, KEH, B&H used department. All I do is I go and bid them out to the three. Figure out who's giving me the best price. And
what do? They give you a price? They're like, hey, we'll pay this?
Yeah. I mean, it's very, very painless.
Are they forms? Like you go, there's a form?
Yeah, it's a form. You fill it out. A lot of times, I mean, some of them, and basically all it comes down to is as long as you're honest about the quality, as long as you're honest about, you know, what accessories you have, you get the price, and then basically they go, you send it to them, they evaluate it, and they send you the money. That's it.
I like that.
It's very, I mean, all three of them all work the same. It's sold to all three, so.
There you go. All right, so John is asking, how is your new Tamron 150 to 600? John, I hate to say this. I haven't really shot it very much. I mean, I've done my test shots around the house, but I haven't really. Now, there's an air show coming up in about a month or so that I'll hopefully, Erik and I were talking about on the break, going over to shoot. Is it heavy to hold? Yeah, it's kind of heavy. It's not as heavy as my old, like, I took my, what did I take? I took my 200 to 400 with me to the last air show I shot in Houston. That thing, like you wait till the jet's right on you, and then you lift it up because that thing's heavy. This one's nothing like that. I mean, it's heavy. I mean, it's like, it wouldn't be a problem shooting, you know, an air show or anything. It's not a problem, but it's not light. It's not light. So it's, you know, it's a big lens. I do want to thank you though, John, for, and Erik and I both want to thank you for something that you did for us. You gave us Tom Brady and Gronk.
Yes.
And we still say to each other daily, did we win the Super Bowl? Because like last year, the word Super Bowl were forbidden to be used anywhere in the Tampa Bay area in a 100-mile radius. And this year we actually won it. It's weird. So it's a surreal for Tampa. Come on. Anyway, so that's anyway to answer. Thank you, John, for lending us your player. John is from Boston. And he let us have a couple of his guys. All right, what else did I have? Okay, Sony. So Sony just introduced a camera that on the spec sheet blew everybody's mind. People, now what's weird is everybody makes a rush to judgment based on specs. It's either the worst camera ever made and never should have been created, or it's the best camera ever made. In this case, everyone decided the new Sony was the best camera in the history of all cameras, that no other cameras would be sold after it was.
Before anybody's ever seen an image the camera even produced.
Right, before anyone ever held it, before anyone ever touched it, and before anyone ever actually saw an image, they'd all decided it was the greatest camera ever. However, as Mr. Kuna will tell you, once the camera got into reviewers' hands, things went a little different. Erik?
Oh yeah, I mean, like you said, I mean, that's what I found so interesting about this camera. And not to start out, it's a terrible camera.
No.
It was just that thing of the specs. I think what happened, and then, well, I know what happened, and once it got in people's hands, the specs started not lining up. When we start testing cameras, like the big one was, they were claiming, 30 frames per second, no problem. You know, and what the reviewers are starting to say is, 30 frames per second in like lockdown, no tracking, like ideal conditions where you're never going to use 30 frames per second.
Yeah,
you're
never
gonna
really going to get
shooting
to use
a still life and be like, man, I really need 30 frames per second. Let me rip off a bunch. It's going to be action. It's going to be panning. It's going to be, and then when you start getting into those modes, people are saying, well, the best I'm getting is like 19 frames per second. Well, that puts it in line with like an R5 or an R6. So people are going, well, wait a minute, that doesn't really compute.
$2,000 camera.
Yeah, and then another thing is once you put on a third-party lens, it immediately takes it down to 15 frames per second. So if you put on a Tamron lens, it just immediately drops it to 15. It doesn't even let it go to 30.
But what's the price, Erik?
So then that's where you get down to it. I've noticed a lot of reviewers are comparing it to other cameras out there, be it the Nikon and the Canon. But it's well, and they're comparing it to like the Z7 or the
Canon
R5, and it's $6,500.
It's $6,500.
So they're comparing it to a camera that's
costs half as much,
about half as much, and that's the sad part here is like. It was like, oh my gosh, look at all these specs. And not to discount, I mean, sure, if you're a Sony user and you need this stuff, it's probably a great camera, but it's actually the same for me as like the 1DX Mark III conversation we were having earlier.
Right.
It's like, I can't tell you what good straight face, like go buy that one when this one it's so similar for the amount of cost. But there's other things like, you know, the one thing that I don't understand about the A1 is the tilt. It only has a tilt screen. I don't get that. Why does Sony do that in their cameras?
I don't know.
Like, because I will say, I mean, that's one that like, I mean, you know, like the Canon articulating screen that we have. Like,
dude, that is the best.
That's like the best. That's the money well spent right there.
Yeah.
But I don't understand why it's not like they couldn't do it, but it just seems like, why in a $6,500 camera do you have a feature that you're like, you know, and then you can't even get started on the menu system, right? You know, I mean, that's the other part of it. But that's where it's interesting, and I think this goes back to this whole like spec sheet thing, right? That we get so consumed with the specs, and we really should get the cameras in our hands. And once the cameras are in our hands, what we're getting the feedback from the people that actually look at this and look at the cameras, they're like, yeah, it's okay, but it's nowhere near what they said the specs were going to be.
Right.
You know?
Oh, no. Hey, so remember I said this was going to be a long journey to get us to where we
yeah.
So the end part of my journey today is what is it that is stopping the camera companies from making really good user interfaces for their cameras? The user interface on Canon, I think, is probably the best. I've used Nikon, I've used Canon, I've used Sony. Sony's is just, it's a minefield. So that was the one thing about
just fighting with it.
I had Sony AR2, 3, I forget what it was.
Yeah.
I took it on a trip with me, and it was just laborious to use. It really was. Now, I understand that once you learn it, like once you really get into it, but you know what that's like? I play piano. Once I learned what the notes are, it's pretty easy now. If you walked up and saw me play piano, you go, hey, he doesn't have any problem with it. But if you're not familiar with piano, it's kind of hard. That's the same thing. So people that
we don't want kind of hard.
Yeah, I don't want kind of hard. I want really easy and intuitive. This is why we all have iPhones. That's why iPhones existed, because Apple changed the way people use their phones. Like all of a sudden, it was easy. And you know what? I'll give you an example. So my dad, I bought my dad numerous computers, and he could never use them. And it was because I finally figured out what it was that stopped my dad from being able to use a computer. Because my dad was a smart guy. He wasn't a dumb guy by any means, really sharp guy. He could not make the jump between moving his hand and something happens someplace else. Like moving the mouse and your cursor moves, that disconnect. Yeah. If you were to, my dad has been passed away for a while now, but if I could have bought my dad an iPad, he would immediately have got it. I mean, immediately he'd have been like, oh, touchscreen, and that would have been it. He'd have fallen in love with it. It'd have been his best friend. Because he really wanted to use the internet and do all that stuff, but he just couldn't get the mouse and the computer. It just didn't make sense to him.
And that is a very common thing. Even you look like my grandmother, who's in her mid-90s, right?
Yeah.
You give her an iPhone or an iPad, totally could, but
makes sense.
A computer was just never. It was just foreign.
Same thing with my mother-in-law and father-in-law. Here's an iPad.
Weird.
Wow, this is perfect. I get it. They get it immediately.
Push here and it launches. Boom.
Right. Why can't we have an interface like that for cameras? Why are we still digging through menus and digging through even the touch screen? All the touch screen did was change us from doing this to doing this. It's still ridiculously overdone, hard to do. Somebody needs to, you know what I would love to see? Apple to make an OS for a camera. Could you imagine if Apple or Tesla or somebody like that that's great at UI design says, I'm going to redo, we're going to start from scratch, because this stupid thing that we all use on the Nikons, Canons, and Sonys and Fujis and everything, it doesn't work. It's stuff's buried upon buried.
Well, it hasn't changed too. It's kind of like the Adobe Lightroom Classic conversation. The menu system, Canon had the best beginning menu system. I could argue that Nikon's isn't much. They're almost, Canon and Nikon had a good menu system from the foundation, right?
Yeah.
But it, in essence, has not changed. I mean, in all the years of digital, I mean, you could go back Well, maybe like 2005, 2006. You could go back to about that time, and the menu system's going to look almost the same as right now. So it's that whole thing of like, we've just never rethought it. We've never, and to your point, I mean, I think if they really kind of stepped back and said, okay, let's make something for today, what would it look like? And it'd be totally different. It wouldn't be.
Well, here's an interesting thing, Erik.
Especially with touchscreens now.
So the other day on The Verge, which is another great blog, The Verge, you read The Verge.
Yeah.
They had, I'm going to go real quick and see if I can find it because it might have even been just yesterday. Everyone is all gaga about this new camera that attaches to your iPhone. And it basically, they took a camera body and you slot your iPhone into it and you run it from your phone. And I'm like, yes. Now, there have been people that made add-ons too. Yep. None of them have taken off. I think this one is, let me go to The Verge real quick and just see if I can find it. I want to give you the name of it so you can look it up and do your own research. I guess it's theverge.com. Hold on. Yeah, it's theverge.com. And let me see if I can find it from yesterday. And it did look like, maybe this will be the future, because it was everything you like about the interface from your phone with an actual real camera, but the size was still pretty good. It wasn't big and bulky, because people have tried this before. I'm scrolling down to the bottom of their list. Maybe it was 2 days ago. No, it was right around here. Doggone it. 1 second, I'm going to use their search, and we'll see how their search is. Oh, their search is you can't find their search. Let's go to the bottom of the page and hope they have it on the bottom of the page. Search? Nope. I'll search for the word search. No, there's no way to search their stuff. Nothing like a new site where you can't search. Come on, you got no search? They got a store. They got reviews. Son of a... All right, hold on. Wait, maybe here's the camera. Here's their camera page. No, it's just not here. Wait. No. Wait. No. Wait. No. I don't know where it is, and I don't have the name, and now I'm just sad. But it looked really promising, Erik.
Yep.
Hey, we're about out of time, and we got some comments if you want to grab those real quick.
That's what it definitely is. It looks promising, but until you get it in your hands,
you actually get to try it.
That's what we gotta get. We gotta get it in our hands.
We've been burned enough to know.
Been burned, I mean, that's what I get it. There's been a lot of stuff that's been promised over the years that we've seen, and it just doesn't deliver. So you have to really wait until not everything's right for everybody. You got to get it in your hands.
No, and so many times we make all these judgments.
I mean, that's the reason, honestly.
Everybody will tell you why it's not for them.
So that's what. So Samsung, right? They have the S21 Ultras, their new one, right?
Yeah.
And really, at the end of the day, it is a superior camera phone, right?
Right.
On specs. But in actuality, actually using it, that's where you really have to determine it. Is it really better for you, and all that? So that's where you get down to it. I mean, there's things that are pluses, there's things that are minuses between the two, and that's how it is. And you really have to get it in your hands and experience it than just making those judgment calls on specs. But that's just my take on it.
But that's just Erik's take on it.
Yeah. We need to take another break, right? Now.
Oh, yeah, and then
talk
prizes?
About our conference coming up.
We did. Yeah, we have a conference.
Yes.
We did mention we have a wildlife conference coming up.
Did they show the promo for it?
They did.
They did not. Oh. We don't have the promo yet. I thought maybe that was done.
I thought that's what we were going to see.
Yeah, no, we don't have that done yet. So we're working on that.
Okay. Well, long story short, we have a wildlife conference coming up. And Erik and I are both teaching, but neither of us are teaching shooting wildlife. I am
post stuff.
We're doing the post stuff, and it's going to be great. We've got some wonderful instructors lined up.
Some great wildlife photographers, like even Jonathan and Angela Scott there. Out of Kenya, right? And they shoot like safaris and big cats and stuff. I mean, they've just got some wild stories.
Incredible
stuff. He's
going
to be teaching safari stuff.
How to shoot in zoos.
I mean, we've got Scott
Birds.
Bourne, Richard Burnaby, Moose, Christy Odom. You know, I mean, tons of people teaching at that.
Oh, we got some great. It's going to be great, and it's all online. You can watch it from wherever you're at. And this is big. We archive the entire conference for a year. So for a year, you can go back, catch any classes you missed, rewatch classes you loved, and there's lots of great classes. It's in 2 tracks, and it starts the day before. Come a day early on March 15th, the Ides of March, as it were.
Yep.
Also my brother Jeff's birthday. And that is a pre-conference session on what makes a great wildlife photo, and man, Moose is going to be running that, and it's going to kill.
Yep.
And then you've got 2 tracks, 2 days, all day, full days, and live Q&As with the instructors and stuff, so you can get your questions answered.
If you like wildlife photography, or if you ever thought about getting into wildlife photography, what's great about these is it lets you really dive in and immerse yourself in that one subject. So, if you want to really master wildlife photography, it's a great 2 days.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I love about it.
And we just announced it. In fact, we don't even have the video ready yet.
Yes, yeah.
However, nevertheless, hundreds of photographers have already signed up just on that all over the world. So come and join us. It's going to be a lot of fun. If you've ever done one of our virtual events, they're a blast. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and hope we'll see you about a month from now, right?
Yep.
What's today? Today's the...
Yeah, it's a little less than a month.
Oh, today's the 17th.
Yep.
So just a little less month. It's going to be a lot of fun. Stick around. When we come up, we got some prizes, a couple last comments, and we're a blast out of here. So stick around. We'll be right back.
Hey there, my name is Brett Malley. I'm a Kelby 1 instructor, and you should take a look at my latest class on advanced landscape compositing. In this class, we really take landscape compositing to a whole other creative level, where you get to imagine it and create it from all the different pieces of landscape images in your archive. So check it out right here on Kelby 1.
Would you believe us if we told you that you could fit studio lighting in your pocket? Well, Lytra has made it possible. Lytra is a global award-winning brand that designs and manufactures professional-grade camera lights that are compact, rugged, and waterproof. Whether you're using Lytra gear in a photo studio or underwater, Lytra's mission is to provide content creators with flexible and unlimited lighting tools that can mount on any camera, anywhere. Their lights come with a high CRI or color rendering index, making them some of the most color accurate lights in the industry. Due to the light's compact and rugged design, photographers are able to use the lights in ways that their studio lighting never could. Lytra has also made multiple lighting accessories available to fit your every need as a creator. Whether you're shooting portraits, nailing a product shot, or even flying your drone, they have got you covered. Lytra enables photographers and filmmakers to focus on their craft and create something beautiful. What will you create?
This segment of The Grid is brought to you by Platypod, the world's most compact tripod base.
Make sure you don't miss any episodes of The Grid by subscribing to Apple's podcast app or iTunes. It's free, and we even have a special audio-only version too. So sign up today.
Hey-o. Hey, we're back. Scott and Erik here. It's Gear Chat Day. We're just chatting, talking about gear. A couple of guys talking about gear.
Always fun.
Always fun. Yeah, Erik and I, we're pretty much... There are occasionally times the gear really makes a difference. But there is a whole enjoyment. Like, you can make great pictures with whatever camera you have. Whatever camera, I don't care if it's 5 years old, 6 years old. You don't need a new lens. You don't need a new body. That being said, we still enjoy this stuff.
Fun. It's fun.
I just got some new lighting gear. So I'm teaching at, let me get you the details. I'm teaching at the B&H Depth of Field Conference. So let me get you the details on this because I want you to go. B&H Depth of Field. Hold on. B&H Photo. Depth of Field. Don't move, don't breathe, don't make a sound. I'm going to have it for you right here. Okay, it's at B&H. And how can you get to it? So it's got a funky link. It's I don't even know how you'll find this. But it's called the Depth of Field Conference. You can see it on my screen. And it's put on by B&H. It's in 17 days. I'm one of the instructors. And I'm teaching a class on lighting, and I'm using Westcott's brand new the FJ400 light. Now, I've got a few of them, but I'm going to be using their one. And it has got the touchscreen interface that the whole industry needs. Like, we were talking about that. Why won't somebody, dude, their interface on their, it's just, come on. It's so great. It's just, why did it take this long? And their price is right. The price of this thing is ridiculously good. Of the the FJ.
Yes.
I love that.
Hey, it looks good too. It looks good.
Great looking.
Yeah.
It runs with and you only have to buy, you don't have to keep changing remotes if you use different bodies. Some people use different bodies and different brands and all.
It's just universal.
It's just a universal remote. It's touchscreen. It makes sense. It's easy. It's bright. The price is right. They are lighting it up. In fact, they've been out of stock for them for I don't know how long because everybody wants one because it's like all one piece. It's really inexpensive and it's awesome. I think it's the best thing that Westcott's ever made, and I'm the biggest fan of their rapid boxes.
Yes.
I use it with their rapid boxes.
Well, that's the thing. You can use it with it. Right?
But this is the best thing that they've ever made. And I've been using Westcott products for 15 years probably.
Yeah.
Best thing they've ever made, hands down. Okay. Anyway, I am teaching at the Depth of Field Conference March 7th and 8th. It's an online experience. Register over at B&H. Now, once you get to B&H, I have no idea how you're actually going to get to where the conference is.
Because I'm sure they'll send out stuff.
Oh yeah, I'm sure, but wouldn't it be nice if there was like something you could click to find it?
Oh, yeah.
Yep. I don't know where it's at. But to do what I do, B&H, Depth of Field, I go to Google, B&H Photo, Depth of Field Conference, and then it'll show.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe it's one of the scrolling things at the top here.
And we have the link in the chat, too.
Oh, there it is. There it is. If you go to B&H, scroll through the big things up the front, and one of them shows up. There it is.
Second banner.
There it is. One of the banners on the top.
Cool.
So anyway, this sounds like it's going to be kind of cool. So
we had some questions or comments maybe. So we had let's see, Diane was saying we were talking about used gear, right? And she's selling. I sell my used gear back to the local camera store where I buy most of my gear and use the money to upgrade. I've developed a great, and actually put a great relationship with the owners and employees. I can call or go in with questions and just check out used and new gear available. So basically, you can create this personal relationship if you've got a local camera store, and that'd be a great thing.
Well. She went on to write about, it is great having a relationship. Unfortunately, like our last local store in the Tampa Bay area, North Tampa Photo, I used to go there for when I shot film. I used to go there. That's how long ago it was.
Yeah. That's if you live that's great if you live in a place with a camera
with a local camera store. And there's some great local camera stores around.
Yep. And then Scott's saying, Scott's analogy to Apple was what got me to change to Canon. In his YouTube videos on why he switched to Canon.
Hey, Scott.
And then sending hugs to us.
I know, Scott.
There you go.
Hey, Scott. How you doing, buddy?
Which is a great point. Really at the end of the day, sometimes it's just about what fits for you.
Yeah, you got to find something that connects with you.
And it's okay. It's okay if that's fighting with Sony's menu system. I get it. It's cool.
Stuart's got a good comment here.
So people should also consider passing old gear on to newbie photographers. Young photographers can learn a lot even with old equipment.
That's true. It's very true.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, we got some winners.
We got some prize winners. So Sandy is winning the iPhone book. We have John Gelderman from SoCal winning an iPhone book as well. So we're giving 2 of those away. Awesome. Yes.
The ebook, yeah.
The ebook. And then Jonah Everett loves the grid and wants to win the Creative Garden Photography book. So there you go. You're winning that.
You just did.
And then John Montgomery is winning the Boris Effects. And then Jesse, help me out there.
Fair Reason?
Fair Reason from a Friesen, Wisconsin is winning the Slick Pick membership. And then James Kilgo is winning the Platypod. So all you got to do to win that or to claim your prize is just email gridprize@kelby1.com. We'll verify your information and then send you out the prize.
We give away a lot of like every week we give away a lot of stuff.
A lot of prizes, yeah.
I think we're giving away too much.
I think so too.
I think we should keep some of this stuff for ourselves.
Absolutely.
There we go. All right. Well, we've come to the end. We're over. We're over, as usual. The end of another show. Thank you guys for watching. Thanks to all of our sponsors. Thanks to our crew here, who's awesome to come in. So we are all kind of working from home mostly, but the crew comes in for the grid and for other projects that we have to come in for. But it's a pain in the butt when you're already working at home. So I want a special thanks to my crew here, to Ron and to Jason and Christina and Juan, and I don't know who else is here. Me and Kuna.
Yeah.
Oh, Victor's here. And Victor. So the crew's all here, and thanks to all of them. Thanks to all of you for watching. What we got coming up next week? Anything?
Maybe Randy?
Yeah,
Rampton Kazami next week.
Yeah, we got to come up with I think we have a couple conversation ideas on that.
All right,
so
we
maybe do that. So
good. Rampton's
awesome.
great. He's awesome. He's a Kelby 1 instructor, an amazing photographer, and just one of the coolest guys. He's just so much fun.
And he's got a new class.
And he's got a new class.
Yeah.
Randy, come on. What's not to like?
Jason says, don't forget the Super Bowl champions.
And don't forget the Super Bowl champions.
And don't forget the Super
there
Bowl
it is.
champions.
Tossing the Lombardi trophy.
No.
Hey, can I say something? Sports Illustrated. Okay, so I don't know if you heard the story, but you had to have heard it, where Tom Brady took the Lombardi Super Bowl trophy. He was out in a boat parade, and he threw it to Cameron Brate, one of the Bucs receivers. Who caught it? Here it is. He threw the freaking trophy, the Lombardi trophy, the Super Bowl trophy. He threw it. By the way, only Tom Brady can pass on the water.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Complete the pass.
I was not worried for 1 second.
Right. Yeah, nobody was worried. Well, the daughter of the man that designed the Lombardi trophy was furious and demanded apology from Tom Brady, and she couldn't sleep for 2 nights. She was so upset and all this stuff. And Sports Illustrated wrote the best thing about it. I got to find it. Give me a second, because I just saw it again.
I actually love what
Did you
the
see
general
it?
manager of the Bucs tweeted about that.
Oh, yeah, the general manager, Jason Licht.
Yeah.
You know that you guys saw the movie Stripes with Bill Murray?
Yeah.
And there's a scene where the drill instructor says, "Lighten up, Francis."
Yeah.
That's what he tweeted back to her. But I got to tell you this. This is so wonderful.
There's no chance that thing was going right where he aimed.
Let me just read you this, because it's the best. It's the greatest thing. Here it is from Sports Illustrated. So Sports Illustrated said, "Here is the wildest part of the ridiculous Tom Brady story, the trophy story."
Yes.
He said, so the woman that complained and made all this big fuss, her name is Lorraine Gross, Grohs. And he wrote,
from right here in Florida,
"Just when you thought there would never be something that could finally unify this country, along comes Lorraine Gross." Because universally throughout the entire internet, everybody said, "Oh, lighten up." Like, nobody took her side. Nobody thought, yeah, that was horrible. Now, if he had missed, if he didn't catch it, if the trophy was destroyed, I could see you maybe losing a couple of nights' sleep, even though it's not your trophy. It's their trophy.
I'll tell you what, if he had missed, there is so many divers in Tampa Bay that would have been down there.
Yeah, but what if it broke? What if it hit the side of the boat, broke in two?
It wasn't going to. It's Tom Brady.
Of course it's
that
Tom
thing was
Brady.
Going wherever he pointed it.
Yes,
it went right to where he threw it.
He throws complete passes.
It doesn't matter if it's a football or it's a big trophy. It's going right there.
You know, so it's like a traffic accident that didn't happen. Well, you almost hit that car, but you didn't. Let's go.
Yeah, welcome to 2021.
Yeah. So, but it was so funny that said, just when you thought there would never be something that could unify the country, the whole country is unified in saying she's wrong. Anyway, thanks everybody. Have a great week. Thank you, Mr. K.
Yeah, thank you.
We'll catch you guys next week right here on the grid.